All right, let's dive right into a really fascinating, almost mind-bending idea. We're going to explore how artificial intelligence, this thing that we created, might actually be a key to helping us see more of the world. Not a virtual world, but the actual physical reality all around us. So, how does that even work?
I know what you're thinking. It sounds like a total contradiction, right? How can something artificial possibly make what's real even bigger? That's the core question we're tackling today. And honestly, the answer could really shift the way you look at, well, everything.
Okay, so first things first, we have to get on the same page about perception. We like to think our eyes and ears are these crystal clear windows to the world, but they're not even close. Our perception is actually a biological filter, and it was designed over millions of years for one thing and one thing only: survival. It shows us just enough to act, to find food, to not get eaten. Everything else, all that extra detail about reality, it just gets filtered out.
And the crazy part is, what gets filtered out is almost everything. Because reality isn't some fixed, solid block of stuff. It's a continuous, dynamic flow of change and transformation. It's always moving, always becoming something new. So what we perceive is really just a tiny, tiny slice of this incredible, ever-changing process.
So this brings us to what we can call our filtered reality. Knowing that our biology is holding us back, humans have always been trying to find ways to peek around that filter, right? To see what we're missing. And throughout history, we've come up with some pretty clever tools to do just that.
We can think about these tools as three powerful historic lenses. Each one gives us a totally different angle, a unique way of trying to see a bigger piece of the picture.
And what are these lenses? You know them well. They're science, art, and philosophy. Each one is its own path to expanding our worldview beyond just what we need to survive day to day. So let's quickly break down how each one works its magic.
So, let's start with science. Science is the great explainer. It looks at all the chaos of the universe and tries to find the stable patterns, the unbreakable laws. And that's amazing. It gives us an objective grasp of things. But here's the trade-off. To give us certainty, science has to reduce ambiguity. It closes off possibilities. So science explains why an apple falls down, which is incredibly useful. But in doing so, it also cements the rule that it can never fall up.
And that is where art comes in. Art couldn't care less about stable laws. It's all about the moving, the emotional, the fleeting moments. Art expands our reality by revealing all the stuff our biological filters normally toss out. The subtle nuances of light, a hidden feeling, a fresh perspective. Art is what can show us the very thing science says is impossible. It can show us the apple that rises.
Then, of course, we have philosophy. Now, philosophy is the great organizer. It doesn't really explain like science or reveal like art. It expands reality by making it thinkable. It builds the mental frameworks, the very concepts we need to even start to grasp things we can't see or measure, like justice or consciousness or being itself. It gives us the intellectual tools to grapple with the invisible.
So just to sum it up real quick, science expands by explaining, art expands by revealing, and philosophy expands by making things thinkable. For centuries, this has been our go-to toolkit for pushing past our built-in limits. But now, now something entirely new has entered the chat. And yeah, you guessed it. This brings us to AI. But we're not going to call it a lens. We're going to call it the amplifier, because this is where things get a major upgrade. Now, this is a really critical point. AI is not just a fourth lens that we add to our collection. It's something else entirely. Think of it more like a catalyst. It's something that connects to science, art, and philosophy, and it amplifies all of them. It makes them talk to each other, resonate in ways they never could before. It doesn't replace them, it supercharges them. So how does it do that? Well, you have to remember, AI doesn't have a biological brain. It doesn't have to worry about survival. So instead of trying to find the one right answer, it just sprouts endless possibilities. Instead of picking the one best variation, it proliferates thousands of them. It creates a kind of creative vibration instead of trying to stabilize things. And maybe most importantly, it doesn't just reveal what's hidden, it genuinely invents things that have never existed.
All of this is leading us into a brand new era, one we could call co-creating a wider world. It's about taking these four incredible ways of seeing and weaving them all together.
And here's how it all fits. You've still got science explaining, art revealing, and philosophy making things thinkable. But now you have AI,
And its unique gesture is to expand reality by multiplying and connecting potential. It can feed countless new hypotheses to science, generate infinite new visions for art, and create entirely new concepts for philosophy to explore.
So the future isn't about picking your favorite lens anymore. It's about creating this ongoing conversation, this dialogue between all four of them. It's this beautiful interplay between what our biology lets us perceive, what our science helps us understand, what our art lets us imagine, and what our partnership with AI allows us to co-create.
And where does all this lead? What's the endgame here? Well, the source material for this explainer puts it just perfectly. It creates a new way of inhabiting reality. A reality that's more vast because we can see so many more possibilities, more mobile because we're not locked into one way of seeing, and just profoundly more creative.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last massive question. A question for all of us. With these new amplified tools, with this expanded vision, we're not just passive observers anymore. We are now active co-creators of reality itself. So the final question isn't just about what we can see, it's about what new realities we will choose to create.